Hey everybody, it's Adam from IHP and welcome to episode 3 of JC Unplugged. We've had a busy last couple of weeks. Last week we had international mentorship from Colombia. This week and next week we have another international mentorship with the folks from Ecuador. So then we have some other mentorships coming up throughout the year, so stay tuned for those. But like always, just going to get right into the questions with JC and our staff here. So Carlos, number 1. This has to do with Conor McGregor and his trainer. Are you familiar with Ido Portal?
No.
Okay. So, Mark, that was your question. Yeah. So that kind of negates that question altogether. Because the question was his training. Do you know anything about the training that Conor McGregor did?
No.
Okay.
No, but if you can tell me what he's doing, I can give you my opinion.
It's primal movements.
Primal movement, that's something new. That's been going on, that's like, it was initiated a long time ago in Brazil. The first time I saw that was 2001. So that's nothing. It's it's primal movements. It's actually, they mimic animals. The gorilla walk and bear walk and all that stuff. And they have this very smooth, flowing, almost animal tai chi type of thing, okay? So yeah, that's great. And what? You know, so do I know yoga? Yeah. Do I know Pilates? Yeah. Is that animal primal movements, walking around and crawling around and walking and jumping around and doing somersaults and all that stuff like animals? Is that going to improve your fighting? Hell no. I mean, you can do all that you want, but at the end of the day, you better have some gas. You better be able to close a distance. You better have some ability to explode and some timing, you know, and have a warrior's heart, because if not, all that animal stuff is going to get you right where that animal is, on his ass, you know. So, no, I don't think none of that is.
You wouldn't say it's effective at all.
I think it's a waste of time, to tell you the truth. You know, if it was all that, you know, Nate Diaz doesn't walk around like a gorilla, or, you know, prance around like an impala, or jump like a kangaroo, and none of that shit, and whooped his ass. Okay, why? Because, you know, just everybody wants to invent new stuff. No, I don't believe in any of that. No, fighter's a fighter. Learn fighting. Then get plenty of gas to be able to sustain what it is that you learn throughout 3 rounds, 5 rounds, and then let God sort it out. Period. Easy. I don't have to know that.
Okay. This is a reference to nutrition question. When a client hits a plateau, do you find it helpful to shock the system with some sort of detox or calorie cut?
What kind of plateau? Because if they hit a plateau already from a calorie cut, cutting calories ain't exactly the way you want to go. A lot of times when you want to break a plateau, if you've had a calorie cut, maybe maintain the calories, or you can come up on the calories just a tad, maybe 10%, but change the macronutrient profile. So maybe go to a higher protein, lower the carbs, increase your fats. That I have found to be a lot more effective than calorie cut. You know, if you've hit a plateau for other reasons, then maybe a calorie cut is indicated if you haven't tried that. But normally plateaus are hit because you reduce the calories, the thyroid's picked it up, and your body temperature and T3, T4 have been regulating your basal metabolic rate, and now you're stuck there. So, further cutting the calories and trying to mess with the thyroid that's already messed up, that ain't the way to go. A lot of times feeding it a little bit and changing the macronutrient profile is a way to freak the body out. So increase the calories, increase the protein, increase the fat, lower the carbs, boom, perfect strategy to possibly address the plateau.
All right. What are some of your methods for developing reactionary agility?
What is that?
Like in sports, it's instead of like a choreographed, like a ladder drill in sports, you have to react.
Right.
You know? So what are some tips that you use actually that help make it more reactive?
Basically reaction time. All right, well, the way you improve reaction time is to train reaction. The question is, what kind of reaction is your athlete looking at? So for example, if you're improving the reaction time of a swimmer at the blocks, okay, it's got to be audio. It's not visual. So you got to work on that, because every stimulus input or every system that brings in input, whether it's audio, visual, sensory, whatever, all of those work differently. and they're different timing. Like for example, visual is the slowest reaction time. Tactile is the fastest. Auditory is pretty fast as well. So you react, you work there. So you can react to whistles, you can react to guns. And I like reacting to the same thing. Gun is gun. Gun and whistle. Whistle is a ramp up. A gun is a pop. You know, that alone right there can be a few milliseconds of timing difference. So I respond to the same stimulus and then get into a point where you have to be relaxed so you can explode. If you're tense, you know, so that's all has to be learned. So I would do that. If then you have the reactionary agility of I fell down, I gotta react, get up and go. So those are a combination of not audio, but kinesthetic. So that's when I like the different starts. Lay them down, sit them up facing away from you, put them on all fours, put them in different positions, then you hit a whistle, bam, and go. And sometimes it's visual. Sometimes it's visual. And that's one of the reasons I like tumbling. Tumbling is a lost art. And I'm talking about just basic stuff. Forward rolls, backward rolls, forward rolls, backward rolls with sprints. Because normally if you're a football player, you get clipped, boom, you gotta roll, get up, and go chase the guy. So those are things that I really, really love that are elementary that I don't see being used. You know, tumbling, beautiful. Reaction stuff, beautiful. That's the way. That's an easy way to train that.
Okay. I know if I heard gun, I'd be real reactionary.
Yeah.
One of the things that we see a lot is, well, that we don't see a lot of, is in-season training and the importance of in-season training. It seems to be this kind of, I don't have time for it.
That's what I don't have time.
I'm in practice. I've got games. There seems to be every single excuse for not training in season. Can you just touch a little bit about the importance and the value of in-season training, even if it's just 1 hour once a week?
What I think the biggest problem with lack of in-season strength training, which is what we're talking about.
Exactly.
In-season strength training is injuries. Okay, why does a muscle get injured outside of contact? Okay, lack of strength. It's more tension on a tissue than the tissue can handle. Outside of avoiding the movement, you got to make the movement stronger so you don't get to that injury threshold. Okay, so 20 minutes, 15 minutes, I'm talking about 2 or 3 sets at 5 reps can maintain strength in a week, just a week. So all you need is 2 or 3 sets per week to maintain strength, all right? So the coaches will say, we got practice, we got practice, we got practice. And I tell the coaches this, you're fatiguing in practice. You're fatiguing and you're practicing some of the same crap. Leave practice 20 minutes early or start, even better, starts 20, 30 minutes later, get the whole team in the weight training room and just do simple 3 sets of leg presses, 3 sets of deadlifts, 3 sets of squats, whatever your medicine is, whatever your poison is, choose it. 3 sets of bench, 3 sets of pull-ups, you're done. Everybody run it. If you don't have, a weight room, do dips, pull-ups, single leg squats, 3 for 5, boom, everybody at least maintain strength. So I tell people if you have enough time to practice, you have enough time for strength training, 15, 20 minutes will get it for you. Twice a week is huge. 15, 20 minutes twice a week, nobody gets weaker. Everybody maintains strength, your injuries will go down, your performance go up, there's no excuse.
Yeah, and I think that's the biggest thing, the lack of in-season strength training is the propensity of injury just goes
through the roof.
Goes up. So I'd rather 20 minutes, 30 minutes of training and to reduce that chance of injury.
You're looking at 15 minutes. And if you go 15 minutes twice a week, you're money. You're so money, it's incredible. It's incredible. Please don't tell me you don't have that time. Because they're running these kids in glaciers and this and that, and they're playing them 3 times a week and they're practicing 3 times a week. And they say we don't have time. That's insane. That's plain stupidity in ignorance.
So all you IHP athletes out there, if you're listening and you're in season, get in here. We'll see you soon. All right, Carlos, last question. This was something that you hit upon in a staff meeting last week that you were pretty adamant about, so I'm sure you're going to probably take some time to talk about it. But the question is, what role, and it's not what everybody thinks that I'm going to ask this question, what role does posture play in exercise?
Yeah, everybody corrects posture. Everybody corrects form. Shoulders back, when you're doing pull, retraction of the scapula, don't allow this, don't allow that, don't allow the core to sag in the push-up, and so on and so forth. Apart from the fact that you're making something biomechanically stronger, you're showing people how to use the right muscles, the big muscles to do the big work and all that stuff, stabilizing structure so they can be pulled on efficiently. Understand that posture is more than biomechanics. Okay, if we know that the physical manifestation of a person is a reflection of their emotional, psychological, spiritual state, then posture also carries that kind of connotation as well. When you're teaching somebody this, to pull from here, push it from here, and everything is tall, okay, you don't realize that, but you're teaching them the posture of power. It's power in an exercise, strength in an exercise, and strength in life. Because when you get bad news and you give up on that news, or you're giving into that news, what do? Okay, this has always been the posture of defeat. Okay, this is the posture of confidence. So if you're doing 20, 30 sets, you're doing 200 or 300 reps per workout. If you're insisting and teaching every time there's a stress, and every rep is a stress, whether it's I'm short on oxygen, or my God, my muscles are burning more and more, it's a stressful situation. If your clients are associating, when I get under stress, or for every stress, I gotta face stress from this position. Squat, big chest, proud, tall. Deadlift the same way. Bench press the same way. Pulling the same way. Overhead press, nothing's ever done here. All right, what you're teaching is the posture of strength, the posture of confidence, the posture of a winner. All right, that has huge carryover into somebody's personal life, with relationships, with careers, and so on and so forth. So posture is not only about strength in exercise, but it's also strength in life. And that's one of the things you can explain to your clients, and it'll set you apart from all the other trainers. Not only is it true, but it's primal information that when people hear it, they go, God, yeah. Wow, now I understand why I'm stronger, but I feel better in different ways that have nothing to do with the strength and exercise accomplishments. I feel different about life. Why do you think? Because you taught them how to do lunges? No. Because the stuff that you're teaching them is carrying over into other aspects. They're better husbands, wives, children, brothers, sisters, nieces, and so on and so forth. Posture is the beginning of that transformation.
Good stuff. All right, everybody, on behalf of myself and the IHP staff, have a great week, and we'll see you in a couple of weeks for episode 4.